Hello everyone, this is Professor Maloney, and today I'm creating a video recording to provide you with an overview on chapters 5 through 8 of the MS Excel activities for this CGS 2108 class. This overview video will be very similar to my Word overview video, where I just kind of show you some of the things that you're going to be doing. I'm going to start by showing you the due dates, well, the available date, which is already passed. I believe it was the 16th, last Wednesday. The due dates on everything for Excel, and then go through the e-text, the audio presentation files, your simulation training requirements, your simulation project requirements, your simulation practice exams, and then just mention at the end that, of course, I'm going to create an Excel exam based upon those 4 simulation practice exams. All righty, so let's get going. I'll stop showing me and start sharing my screen. Okay, so now let's see here. Oh, this one I don't need because I already have that one. All right, so let me verify that I'm recording. I am recording. Verify that I'm sharing. I am sharing. So that's all good. All right, so let me hide this page. So I'm just going to, first of all, actually I do want to show you the schedule of activities so that you see it from the perspective of Blackboard, because remember, you can always look at what's due and what's available and what's coming up by just checking your tentative schedule of activities. Can the dates change? Yes, of course, but have they changed to this point? I don't think, not one time, okay, but it's possible. But anyway, and then I'm going to go over to the Student Start Here and show you the same stuff in the Pearson MyLab IT site. All right, so tentative schedule of activities, and I shall click the schedule of activities to open it up and scroll down. So let's see here. Let me make this a little bit smaller again. It's weird how sometimes some of them are big and some of them are small, but I'm going to make it that size. Hopefully that's okay. All right. Okay, so we're done with obviously the week 1 stuff. We're done with Windows 10 stuff. We're done with now Microsoft Word stuff, which is all what we started after the Windows 10 exam. And this continued. So on Wednesday the 16th, we had our Word exam. That was last Wednesday. And at the same time, I told you that Excel content opens up. And it opened up that very day. So it was available since March 16th. Now, I didn't say you had to do anything from March 16th to March 22nd or March 23rd. But, you know, obviously you want to make sure you're working and you're working hard for this class because there's a lot of material. You also want to make sure that you're focused for all the exams, right? And the way to be focused is to be prepared. So you always do your work and try to do it as early as possible. But let's look at everything for Excel. So review the Excel content in Blackboard. Well, here's the content in Blackboard. So we're covering chapters 5 through 8, okay? Don't pay attention to the dates, but more or less, I mean, where it says weeks, but it's more or less weeks 8, 9, 10, and 11. Again, those started last week, so now it's already one less week. So it's basically February 16th to March the 15th, all right? I think that's what we have here, right? Anyway, that's what we have. And what do you have to do? You have to do 4 Excel lessons, okay, at the, of course, Pearson MyLab IT site for this class. Then you also have to do 3 required MS Excel individual projects, okay? And for Excel, they're going to be chapters 5, 6, and 7. The 4 Excel lessons are chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you're going to have the 4 ungraded MS Excel practice exams to get ready for the MS Excel final exam, which is not created yet. Just like on the Word exam, I'm going to be creating the Excel exam based upon those 4 ungraded Excel practice exams. All righty? All right. So that is that. Now let's make the size the normal size again. Okay, so I'm now going to go over to Student Start Here. And of course, click into the MyLab and Mastering Course Home, which is the way I go. I think you guys go the same way, but I believe both of those links both work for you. All right, so now I want to go into my course materials. You know, my way of getting in is a little bit different than yours, but obviously you just come on over to MyLab IT and the available modules will show up. So Word ended on the 22nd. Excel is scheduled to actually go until the 22nd, but that always gives you, I believe that gives you the late period. Like I let you do things up to 6 days late, but with a 20% late penalty. I believe the exam will be on the 16th or 15th or 17th, whatever the Wednesday in March is, that particular Wednesday. So if I go down here, March, I think it's March 16th. I'm not positive on that, but I believe that's when the exam is. All right. Okay. So let me make sure that I'm not in the student view. No, I got to go to student view. Sorry. So that was your view. And I always do everything from my view. Okay. So now go down to Excel. Actually, wait a minute. That's, yeah, I think, no. Let's go to manage course materials. This is my view. Okay, so Excel module 3, all right? Click on this thing here. Now, you're gonna see that the due dates on Excel is March 15th. Okay, March 15th, and that always implies 11:59 p.m. March 15th, March 15th, March 15th, all the way down, it's all March 15th, okay? But I give you until the 22nd, which gives you a option to go one more week beyond the 15th. So 15th is a Tuesday. The exam will be on Wednesday, March the 16th, but then I give you up until the next Tuesday, Tuesday the 22nd, Tuesday the 20, well, 1st or 2nd anyway, one of those, where you can submit work that you didn't do, but with a 20% late penalty. Please, I've always told you from day one of this class, although I will let you make things up, you lose precious points if you do it. So do not go beyond the real due date, March the 15th, okay? All right, so now just to again show you the content for Excel. So it starts right here, go all the way to the top of it, all right? So the e-text, remember the e-text is the book, all right? And if you click the Excel Chapter 5 e-text, that is going to cover, basically it's really an introduction to Excel, then chapters 1 all the way through chapter 8. So it's going to have every chapter from introductory to the advanced class. So in other words, when you scroll down and you see Excel Chapter 6 e-text, and I'll just scroll down now right here, okay, that's the same e-text as when we clicked on it. Well, I'm going to be clicking on it in a moment to show you. But this one here is the same, and it's also the same for the Excel Chapter 7 e-text and the Excel Chapter 8 e-text. So you can click on any one of them, but when you click on it, it's going to open up at the very beginning of Excel, and you would have to scroll down to Chapter 5 when you're reviewing your Chapter 5 work, and then to Chapter 6 when you're doing the Chapter 6 e-text, and then Chapter 7 when you're doing the Chapter 7 e-text, and finally Chapter 8 when you're doing the Chapter 8 e-text, right? So all these things are all due on March the 15th by 11:59 p.m., okay? And obviously you want to make sure that you do them all on time. Now also, let me go back over here to our content for a moment and go into course videos created by Professor Maloney. I did an overview on Excel already. Okay, I did this a couple days ago, more or less February the 20th or so. And I already have it out here for you at 72 minutes. But this is not Chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8 content. So it's sort of like an introduction to Excel for people that don't know Excel. As I mentioned to you when I was doing Word, I like to give you an overview of what you have to do, or I said I was going to, because Excel is hard, and I'll do the same with Access, because Access is hard. So I'm going to be providing this video, and I did it a couple days ago. So now this is one. I'm going to play part of this in class on the 23rd, okay, because I want to make sure you understand Excel from what you should have learned in CGS 1060. Now, a lot of you probably had CGS 1060 last term, and if so, that's great, because it'll be more fresh on your mind. But if you haven't had Excel in a year or two or even longer, then obviously you need an introduction. But I also think this introduction will help everybody, okay? So I'm going to be playing a lot of this in class on Wednesday the 23rd, all right? Okay. So going back now over to manage course materials. So now I'm going to go ahead and first, one more time, show you the assignments that are due. I showed it to you from my schedule of activities in Blackboard. So now I'll just scroll down here and tell you what you have to do and what you don't officially have to do. So the e-text, while you obviously should do it, and I mean do it for each chapter, make sure you study it. It's a lot of work, but you should definitely read it. Okay, this is the e-book from the book. Okay, so this is the book, and again for Excel it's ungraded, but you should do it. Okay, then, and this is all chapter 5. So then the Excel chapter 5 audio PowerPoint presentation, I also talked about this during Word, and I said that the reason I'm giving you an audio PowerPoint presentation is so that you can kind of sit back and just listen to the narrator tell you about this particular chapter, rather than you have to do all the clicking and all the reading yourself. I want you to read the e-text. Let me emphasize that. And then I want you to do the PowerPoint. This is also ungraded. So the first two things are ungraded. You know your simulation trainings are graded. Okay, let me see how many times I'm letting you do these things. So let me hit edit. I don't remember if it's 3 or 5. I want to say I changed everything to 5. When I did, yeah, so you have 5 tries, okay, for each attempt. So you have 5 different attempts to do the skill-based training, and you have 5 attempts per question. If you do not get it, you know, within those 5 attempts per the question, then MyLab IT will tell you what to do, okay? So it's exactly like Word, other than the materials now Excel, right? The reason I have enabled late submissions is, again, so that if one of you, let's say, has to take the exam late because he or she didn't do some of these assignments, I want to let you do these late. And bottom line is, it's better to get an 80 than a 0, right? So if you don't do it by the 15th at 11:59 p.m., you can still do it until the 22nd with a 20% penalty. All right? All right. Wait, why don't I have this is training, right? Oh man, training, skill-based training. Yeah, I messed up. Wow. So I have to enable the grace period, and then you get to deduct 20% for every 1 week. So you get the 1 week, but whether you submit it 1 hour late or 2 hours late or 6 days late or 7 days late, you get the 20%. Okay. And it plays in training mode, and only the highest score counts. All right, so save and return that. So I'm now actually going to have to go in. You know what? I'll do the rest of these after, all right? Because I don't want to be spending my time doing that when I want to be showing you what I want to show you. So anyway, you get to do the trainings that many times. The practice exams also don't get a grade, right? So the simulation trainings are the first graded thing so far for Excel. Then the Excel mid-level project. Okay, this one is for chapter 5. You also, in this one, I think you get 3 tries. That's the way I set the projects up, but let me verify that. Okay, so you get, let's see, preferences. Yeah, okay, number of attempts is 3, and here there's no time limit. I mean, no time limit per se for each attempt, but you do have to submit them all by the 15th to get them without a late penalty. And here I do have my late penalty up. See, the grace period 1 hour, 20%. And this is for the project, all right, greater project. All right, so you get 3 tries for that, all right? So save and return. All right, so far, that's 2 things that count as a grade: simulation training and simulation project. So they count. Simulation practice exam is not graded. Then chapter 6, so the e-text is not graded, but again, do it. The chapter 6 audio PowerPoint is not graded, but do it. Make sure you pay attention to it. Write down notes. You can use notes, remember, on my exams. Chapter 6 simulation training, yes, you get to do it. You get to do it 5 different times. But if you don't do it by the 15th of March, then you have a 20% late penalty. Okay, so it's because it's due on 3/15 at 11:59 p.m. All right. Okay, so chapter 6. simulation practice exam, again, it's practice. It doesn't count as a grade. Chapter 6, mid-level 1 project, yes, that also counts as a grade, similar to the training. So here, you get to do it 3 times. With the trainings, you get to do them 5 times, okay? And they both count as your grade. Then we're on Chapter 7. So the same thing, e-text, audio, PowerPoint, you don't get a grade for. Simulation training, you get a grade for. Simulation practice exam, I mean, technically you do get a grade, but it doesn't count, right? It's practice. But I take the PowerPoint, I take my Excel final exam questions when I make them from the simulation practice exams, and the simulation practice exams are based on the simulation trainings. So that's why training should always be number 1, okay? All right, so that was Chapter 7. You get credit, you get grades for the simulation training for Chapter 7, and you get a grade for the simulation project for Chapter 7. Then Chapter 8, same thing, e-text, audio, PowerPoint, please do them both and listen to them both. Write down notes from them both if need be, and use them on your exam. Chapter 8, simulation training. Yes, you get to do it 5 times. Yes, the grade counts. Yes, it's all due on 3/15 at 11:59 p.m. And then Chapter 8, simulation practice exam. Because I said there's 3 projects, there isn't a Chapter 8 project. Okay, so in the case of Excel, it's 4 simulation trainings. Chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8 are the 4. In the case of the projects, there are 3 projects, just like the same as in Word. But these Excel projects are chapters 5, 6, and 7. Okay, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so that is that. Now, I'm going to go up and review. And of course, you know I'm going to be winding this down soon. I don't spend too much time on it, but I'm going to look at the e-text, okay, and then play a little bit of the audio PowerPoint as well. All right, so e-text. Just the same as with Word, it's going to start at the very beginning of Excel. No, sorry, let me go over here. So table of contents. All right, so the copyright and page, then the Office 365 common features, that's just even before reading Chapter 1. This is Chapter 1. This is Chapter 2 with the 2 out to the left. Chapter 3 has the 3 to the left. Chapter 4, so that's sort of the introductory part. Now what we're doing is Chapter 5, Chapter 6, Chapter 7, and Chapter 8. Okay, so Chapter 5 is subtotals, pivot tables, and pivot charts, summarizing and analyzing data. I'm going to be talking a little bit about these, but mainly just showing you what you're going to be doing. And after this video, I'll then create a Excel training video where I'll demonstrate, you know, more or less 1/3 of the tasks in Chapter 5, Chapter 6, Chapter 7, and Chapter 8. So let's say if there's 15 tasks in each, just saying, then I will do about 5, maybe 6 of each. So that means I'd do about 20 to 24 or 25 total, assuming that's the numbers that are there. All right. Okay. So Chapter 5, I'm going to click on it now. So, and let me make this bigger so we don't, so that you guys can see everything. Okay. So Excel, subtotals, pivot tables, and pivot charts. You will manage and analyze data by creating subtotals, pivot tables, and pivot charts. These are very, very, very big things in Excel. But in the CGS 1060 class, we don't go into subtotals, pivot tables, and pivot charts, except in some cases, professors will do it as a little introduction, okay? I would have included it in my introductory Excel video, the one that I said I'm going to show in class on the 23rd. That's like an hour and 18 minutes or so. But there's so much to cover in Excel, I could not. But I will definitely be demonstrating this in the training for Excel. So don't worry, you will get some information on it. All right. Okay, so after you read this, you're going to get information on subtotals and outlines. All right. So basically, you know, what's Excel doing? Excel is letting us use data, and the data that we're using for the most part are going to be numbers. And numbers, you want to be able to total. You want to be able to analyze the data, meaning the numbers. So you want to be able to do things. So my Excel introductory video, that 1 hour and 12 or 1 hour and 18-minute video that I've been talking about many times already today, that gives you an overview on just doing calculations. You know, I demonstrated the auto sum. The auto sum allows you to do sums. It allows you to do multiplications. It allows you to do the count of X number of cells. It allows you to find the maximum number, the minimum number. It allows you to find the average of a whole bunch of numbers. So it does all that stuff. And then when you want to aggregate that data and put it together, you use things like pivot tables, okay? And you group and ungroup data. Grouping and ungrouping data, the best example in Excel is that with the new versions of Excel, they come with one worksheet. So the Excel file itself, first of all, it's called a workbook. All right, it's a workbook. But each workbook has one worksheet. But if you then want, you can add 2 or 3 or 4 worksheets. When you add 2, 3, or 4 worksheets, you normally group the data by selecting 2 or 3 or 4 different worksheets, so that, as an example, maybe you have a store and the store has 3 locations. You know, maybe it's got a location in North Miami. Maybe it's got a location in Pembroke Pines. Maybe it's got a location in Miami Shores, you know, whatever. So you could group that data together, and from that kind of a grouping, you can actually do calculations that are common to all 3, if it's 3 worksheets that we're talking about, from one worksheet. And it's really an absolutely good table, okay? A good thing to know, to learn, all right? And you'll learn that, all right? Hands-on exercise, anything you want to learn about, you know, do these hands-on exercises. You don't technically have to do them, all right? But if I click it and open it, we'll just see where it brings us, okay? So subtotals and outlines. It says you're vice president of the sociology division and you want to analyze the textbook publications. So it's just showing you things here. You have a 5-minute video here talking about this subtotal data. It's telling you how you're going to be subtotaling your data. Okay, so you've got all this total information here. This is obviously an Excel workbook. So what do they have here? So step A is just go through this video, I guess. Then you're saying for step B, it's sort the data set. Okay, so sorting means you want to go from either Z back down to A or from A up to Z, you know, just sorting. We all know sorting. Subtotal function, you just want to get, you get a whole bunch of totals here, and then you want to make sure that you subtotal all the data that you're looking for, and then you can figure out how you might want to use that, okay? But subtotal function in cell L14. So here is L, and here's 14, and that is the subtotal. Okay, just a simple calculation of the numbers above it. And they're showing things in weird ways. I don't really know it because, again, I don't read everything, but it's not a big deal to do. But anyway, then they're saying step H subtotal function again. Okay, so the subtotal that we get down here is normally just done with a simple calculation. Okay, meaning equal sum, and then from this cell down to this cell right here, and put the total in this cell right there. But you can also click on the ribbon for subtotal, okay? And also for grouping and ungrouping data. It allows you to then pull this information and put it in a separate worksheet if you choose to do so, or in a separate section of a worksheet to make things easier for you. Like here they're analyzing, well, they're putting, remember they said this was textbooks, I think, or something. But anyway, aging/death is the first whatever number of rows. Then criminal justice. Then there's family, and then there may or may not be more, and they go from left to right in terms of, yes, it's book sales. So all these are like books, and then they're talking about when it was copyrighted, what edition it is, blah, blah, blah. But the ones where you have some sales capabilities, then in Excel, you want to make sure that you're tallying that information up, okay? So if you've got units sold at the wholesale level, and a unit price at the wholesale level, you want to find out what that amount is. So if you multiply 25,000 times 105, it's going to come up to 2,625,000. Okay. If you then sold 123 units at the retail level, and the retail price is 137, you'd multiply in this cell here, this cell, which is I5, times this cell, which is J5. Okay, and put the answer in K5. Right. And then the total book sales, you're going to take your wholesale total and your retail total, and then add those together and put it as total book sales. So it's very easy if you use logic with Excel. But anyway, I want you to do this is the point. So you click on the video, you play the video, and then you can just go down and see what you're doing. Okay. If you have a Mac, they do give you some troubleshooting tips for the Mac. And for regular Windows computer users, they also put some troubleshooting. Okay. So, oops, sorry, that was, let's see, wait, why did that? Yeah, I think I just shut down both. Okay, so I'll open up the e-text one more time. All right. All right, so again, table of contents, and I was in chapter 5. Okay, so, and I got down as far as this hands-on exercise. Then there's pivot tables. So pivot tables are really, really cool. Okay, and there's a hands-on exercise to show you how to do pivot tables. Please, please play with that video. But first, read it. So what is a pivot table? So pivot tables are when you're putting together, charts. Like I talked about charts. Well, I haven't talked about it here, but in my overview video, I talked about charts and I demonstrated how to do a chart. Well, a pivot table is similar to a chart, but what you're doing is you're pulling data together that is extremely complex and the pivot table can put things together for you. It's like it's using Excel's brain and you're just going along and seeing if what you think the answers will come out that way when you create a pivot table. So it does a lot of the things by itself. It's really, really, really powerful. Okay, so we'll go through this as part of some of the trainings, again, when I do my demonstration video on Excel training. But please make sure you go through this hands-on exercise too, because pivot tables are very, very important. And then they're saying some options you can do. You can make a pivot table. So the pivot table is going to have all that information together, but you can sort and filter it out. You can slice. That means literally taking a piece off the pivot table and accentuating that piece, which is really, really cool. Creating calculated fields are very easy. We've done this. Well, again, I've done that in the overview video for you, but it's nice and you will get to do it because you're going to for sure be needing to do calculated fields. Changing the pivot table design, there's a little options icon that'll pop up next to your pivot table, and you can click on different things to select or deselect different parts of that design to show them or not show them. Okay, and again, with pivot table options, there's a hands-on exercise. Right? Then data modeling and pivot charts. So when you have relationships, basically data modeling is used more in Microsoft Access and also Microsoft SQL Server, and also in Oracle's huge database, also in IBM's DB2, which is database 2. You use data models. But Excel is such a powerful spreadsheet application that you can also use data modeling to create relationships from one worksheet to another, and Excel will put those answers in Excel. So most people use databases when they're dealing with data modeling, but you can do things within Excel that also do the same, that accomplish the same goal. Very, very important. But go through the training first. Okay, so you see that everywhere over here for chapter 5, these are the links. And again, if you want to click on them, like click subtotals and outlines, it's going to bring you just for a little bit of information on what they are. Okay, and I mentioned that they're all using data, and data is extremely powerful, but it's only powerful if we're using it, right, to make decisions, to let our answers in Excel be calculated based on the right numbers. Otherwise you're going to get what we call logic errors. You've done a calculation maybe, yeah, but it's wrong, and nobody wants a wrong calculation, right? So you need to know how to do things. All right. And then if you want to read about grouping and ungrouping, again, just click it. And it's not going to be much. At most, it's going to be a couple pages, okay, in terms of that. So you can read and then you can scroll over a page. But that's just to show the hands-on. But, just to understand what you're doing, it's good to just get a little bit of a read, all right? And for hands-on exercises, they also had links for all of these, okay? So hands-on exercise here, another hands-on exercise here, and another hands-on exercise there. So you can just click to get these hands-on exercises, okay? And if you want to just look at pivot table basics, you just open this one up. This one may actually have 2 or 3 pages, but still, it's just showing you what they're all about. So in this case here, say they've got a data set. So this is a data set, all right? You have a weekday, you have a time frame, and you have amounts, all right? That's the original data set. And from this kind of a data set, you can get a pivot table. And the pivot table, you can then make changes with these down arrows. The down arrows automatically come as part of the pivot table once you create it, okay? So you can see that here, the data is. But now when you do, say, sum of amount day, that means it's now just organizing this where it's done a total for Friday. See, here's Friday, 750. Here's Friday, 1,000. Here's Friday, 2635. So there's no other Fridays. So if you add the 2 and the 3, that's 3,000, 3,600, 4,100, 4,107, 4,800, 4,850, 4,850 plus 35 is 4,885. And that is the total, the grand total for Friday. And then you see Saturday is 5,900. This is in the pivot table and it's done automatically. All you do is pick the data and then understand how you do the calculations with it. But Excel does it. I mentioned that with pivot tables, Excel takes the information and extrapolates it into answers. It may not always be the right answers, by the way, meaning you may not be looking for that. But in this case, anyway, what they've done is take these days and times of days, okay, and turned them into totals for each of these days. And then, of course, they also did totals for morning, totals for afternoon, and totals for evening. So you see here, there's a lot of confusion because Friday morning, then there's a Saturday morning, then there's a Sunday morning. So there's 3 different mornings. If you add those 3 up, 750 and 895, let's call that 900. So 907 is 1650 minus 5 is 1645. 1645 and another 45 is 1690. 1690 and 8 is 24. So 2490, and that's the total here. So this data here has been literally set up in the corresponding pivot table to have a calculation for every morning, okay, a calculation for every afternoon, a calculation for every evening, so however many calculations that is, and then grand totals for mornings, grand totals for afternoons, grand totals for evenings, and then grand totals for day, okay, grand totals for day, and all that from 10 lines of data. And it's even being put out in only 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of data, really. I mean, you count the time frames too, but so absolutely amazing. So, but it's a lot of stuff, okay, a lot of stuff. So that's a great example, and you can click on the creating a pivot table hands-on exercise, okay? The one that says basics is going to be for this thing here, so you just click it and do it. Really, really good, all right? Okay, so that's chapter 5. I mean, there's a lot of things in it, but that's, you know, I'm not going through everything. As I mentioned, this is what I'm going to be doing. So now I want to go to chapter 6. So here's chapter 6, what if analysis. So let's see, get up here. So what if analysis are where you're trying to figure out things with decision-making tools. You want to say, well, what if I do this and I move it here? Or what happens if I change this price from $1.99 to $2.19, like you raise the price by 20 cents. What if analysis means, what do you think might happen to the total sales? And if you lose sales by increasing the price by 20 cents, do you still make more money by the sales generated at 20 cents more, even though that might be less than the sales generated at the $1.99 price? Okay, so what if analysis are really, really, really fun things to do with Excel as well. So you also might have months. You may have a month of January with total sales, let's say, of 502. Then in February, maybe the total sales went down to 433. Then in March, maybe they went up to 515. Well, it doesn't matter, but numbers like that. Then with a what if analysis, you'd want to figure out, well, so how many business days were in January? How many business days in February? And how many business days in March? And was February's lower volume based on that? So then you'd have to do some kind of what if to figure out what the sales were per day for each of those months. And then you really figure out which was best, January, February, or March, because February can't help the fact that there's normally only 28 days. January and March are both 31, but those 31 still have sometimes 4 Sundays, 4 Saturdays, sometimes they have 5, right? So it depends when the month starts. So what if analysis, very, very powerful as well, okay? Range names are sometimes you want to create a name in Excel that relates to like days of the week. And then you may have the days of the week from Monday through Sunday or from Sunday through Saturday. And then you might want to call them, though, days. Instead of calling them C12, C13, C14, C15, C16. Remember in Excel, every cell has a name. And the name starts with a column name, meaning A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way through Z. And then, by the way, they have a B, starts with BA and goes to BZ. Then it goes to C and it goes CA up to CZ. There are literally tens of thousands of cells in Microsoft Excel in one worksheet. So there's tons and tons of things you need to learn about in Excel. And these are excellent tools. So the pivot tables were excellent. And now what if analysis using decision-making tools, also very, very, very excellent, okay? So range names, 1 and 2 variable data tables. Again, this is where you're putting variables. Variables can represent some content that you might be pulling in from a database, meaning pulling it in from Excel, maybe pulling it in from a text file, and then you just create a data table with it. And again, there's a hands-on, okay, hands-on exercise to get things done. A goal seek and scenario manager, goal seek is pretty cool too. It's like you're wanting to get a certain return. So let's say as an example that you want your sales to grow by 12.3%. If that's your goal, then you can have a goal seek. I want these numbers here, and you just show, here's January, here's February, here's March, here's April, all the way to, let's say, December. At the end of the year, you want to forecast before the year has taken place how you get to a 12.3% increase. And then the goal seek and scenario manager built into Excel will help you do that. It doesn't help you do the sales. It helps you show the numbers that it would take for you to sell to get to that 12.3% goal seek. Excellent. And again, a hands-on exercise on it. So absolutely good. Solver is another built-in tool which helps with the goal seek. Okay, the solver actually, when you throw in the numbers and you throw in it's either number of months or it might be percentage increases, whatever the values you're using as part of the data. And the solver is a built-in tool as well. You just put in some numbers and it then throws it, comes up with the answer based on what you put in. But you still need to know it all, right? So you know it all by doing the training. So Chapter 5 training helps you with understanding pivot tables, or will help you to understand pivot tables and pivot charts. In the next chapter, it's a matter of being able to go in and do, defining range names, defining data tables, using data tables, buying your first home. That could be a nice simple thing. You use a payment function. I think I demonstrated a payment function for you guys when we were still doing Word. Just did it, just did it. And I could actually do one right now if I wanted to just do a quick little thing. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up Excel. I didn't really want to take forever, but let's say Excel. And I'll just open up the Excel app. Okay, and I'll just take a blank workbook. And I'm going to make all these cells bigger size. So I'm going to use the font 20. You have to watch my overview video to see why and what I'm doing here and how I did it all. So here I'm going to say using a PMT function to figure out how much monthly payments would be on a house. Okay, say that. Now, I'm going to also use merge and center here to just get rid of all those individual cells and make this one big one. So I'm going to just say merge and center. And now I can't click in B1. I can't click in H1. I can't click in M1 without the whole thing being selected. See? Anyway, all right. So now here. So I'm going to say house cost. Okay. Then I'm going to say down payment. Then I'm going to say interest rate. Then I'm going to say, let's see, number months. well, I'll say, yeah, number months of loan. Okay. Then I'm going to say monthly payment. And then I'll say total payments. Okay. That's basically these things here get us what we need. I'm going to put this in bold and underscore. So that's basically a payment using a payment calculation. So let's just say, I'll pretend you guys are talking to me. Hey, professor, I'm saying, okay, hey guys, how many of you want to buy your first house or buy a first condo or buy a first mobile home, buy a first, what else could be, townhouse, you know, anything to live in? How much do you want to try to find one for? And so says, me, professor, I want to play. Okay, yes, Jane. Yes, Jane, how much do you want to put, oh, sorry, house cost. Let's put the house cost up here. I didn't actually want that. I wanted this. Let's undo that bold, okay, and use the bold for here. So bold and underscore. Okay, yeah, Jane tells me her house cost is 100, no, in Miami it's impossible. Let's just say 279,999, even though that's pretty well impossible, all right? So that's her house cost. You put in the house cost, then if you want to, you can turn it into the accounting number format. Again, watch my overview video, do your trainings, all right? So 279,999 is now done in, this is called accounting number format. Jane, how much are you gonna put down in that house? I don't have any money, professor. Well, I mean, you know, when you think you're ready to buy it, could I just put like 10,000 down? Yeah, I don't have much money. I probably won't be able to have much. Sure, we'll put down 10,000. Okay, so for this one, I'll use the comma style. Comma style is the same as the accounting format, but without the dollar sign. So comma. Oh, sorry, here. Okay, comma style. Okay. Now, interest rate, I don't want comma style now, so take that one away. I hope that took it away to make this one interest rate. So here, interest rate, I'll say, okay, sure, 0.0439, okay? And because I clicked interest rate, it flipped 0.0439 to an interest rate. But you see, I typed it as 0.0439, so this is rounding it down to 4. I want to show the real number, so I'm going to increase the decimal, increase it again to where I get the exact number. So in other words, when I do the calculations, they're not based on what you see here if it rounds. It's based on what you see in the formula bar. Okay. All right. Number of loans. Normally, loans are either 180 loans. This is for purchasing a house or a condo or whatever. So 180 months means 15 years because 15 times 12 is 180. And then for people that do the old-fashioned, it's 30 years. So 30 times 12 is 360. So because Jane's never bought a house, but we'll say she wants to pay it off in 15 years, that means 180 months. Okay, so 180. Now, here is where I'm going to do the payment, okay, to figure out whether Jane can buy that house. All right, so equal. And you always use a minus, otherwise you're going to get a negative number as the answer. So equal minus PMT, you don't always, but when you're using a payment function, meaning this one, PMT, you say equal minus PMT. For every other thing you do, it's equal and then the name of the function. So equal minus payment, open parenthesis. Now, the first thing it wants is the interest rate. Well, here's the interest rate, okay? But that's the annual interest rate, annual, all right? But Jane's going to be paying it each month. So what I do here is say /, which means division, 12. In other words, I want, for Jane, she needs to know how much the monthly interest rate is. So it's a 4.39 divided by 12. We don't have to do it. We just put it in the equation. It'll do it for us. And then a comma. And now we're on this thing called N per. N per means number of payments. In the old days, it stood for number of periods. Okay. So number of payments is this one. All right. Then the present value, PV stands for present value. It's this one, how much the house costs, and then minus is a dash, how much she put down. Okay, that's all we need. So then I close the opening parenthesis. So this was the opening parenthesis right here. This is the closing parenthesis right here. Now watch, when I get this, when I just enter, here's the answer. Jane would spend $2,050.33 on this house every month. Okay, but now this is called P&I, which is principal and interest. It's not including how much taxes she'd be paying to the city that she lives in, and it's not including how much insurance would charge her to pay for, to buy that house out. So normally you add another $500 or more to it if you use taxes and insurance as well. but I'm not putting that in this formula. And then the total payments is this times this plus this, because Jane wants to know, or Jane's mom wants to know how much it's costing her. So now I'll just do it equal sum. So equal sum open. So this is the monthly payment, and then times this one, okay, and then plus this one. Okay? And then you enter that. So the house costs $280,000 basically, and she's paying it. And when she pays it all back, she's paying $379,000. In other words, $99,000 in interest. But really, even though this is not a great interest rate, it's not a horrible interest rate. But remember, this is 15 years. 15 years. So there's almost $100,000 extra from interest. Okay, but that's it. That's a payment function to figure out how much monthly payments would be on any given house. And then, by the way, the reason I do the formula with cell addresses is, what if someone else comes in and says, hey, professor, you know, my mom is pretty well off, my dad's pretty well off, I'm pretty well off as a result of that. I want to buy a house and it's going to be $599,000. Okay, let's just put it in. Watch, when I change this to $599,000, this will change it'll go way higher, and this will go way higher. But the point is, it does it. So $599,000, and this time it won't put $999,000, just $599,000. One more zero. Okay, see that? So now the monthly cost is $4,472.77. Again, that's without taxes, and that's without insurance. Okay, and then the total payments is $815. So the house was about $600, and there's $216,000 in interest. Okay, that's a lot of interest, right? So if you do formulas the way Professor Maloney shows you guys to do them, then you can keep this. You can keep this thing. Okay, lock the cells here, okay, so that they can't be changed if you didn't want it to change, but most people want them to be changed. What they wouldn't want to change are these, so you can make the formula not editable, okay? And then that way, these are editable fields right here, and you can put in anything you want up there, and then these two calculations will always be based on what you put up there. All right, okay, now that's too much though, because now we're darn well way behind. And I didn't want this one to be long. I already have an hour and 18 minutes on that overview video, and I still have to do a training video, and then I still have to do a project video for Excel. Anyway, so that was a little demonstration of what? Where was I? I saw something about a house. Yeah, buying your first home, okay? All right, so then there's range names, hands-on exercise. Range names we talked about, I thought already. Range names are when you define ranges, like I could on this Excel spreadsheet, okay, if I wanted to, I could, instead of calling this E3, you see here it says E3, that's the name of the cell, right? It's E based on the column and 3 based on the row. So where the row matches the column, where they intersect, that's the cell, E3. But if I want it, I can go to formulas and I can go to define a name, and I can call this name house cost. Let's just say house cost. So define a name house cost. Leave it this way and say okay. Now, when you look down here now, it's still got E5. I want where this one is referenced. Okay, the house cost is referenced. So down here, when they refer to house cost, it's referring to E3. So E3 is this one. Watch. Now I'm going to change this to house cost. House cost. And see how it's popping up? So if I double click it, now house cost is there, but watch. Okay, so I enter again from here, it's still correct. In other words, house cost is now part of the formula instead of E3. If I wanted to change this one to interest rate, I could do that as well. Define a range. You always pick the cell first, then define the name. Okay, and I'll just call it rate. All right, rate. And it knows it's going to be E5. So I say, okay. So now I can go down here and change any reference to E5. Here's E5. Change that to rate. And you see, rate. And rate comes up in small. That's my rate. Okay. All right. So that, and again here, and enter. And you see it didn't say it didn't understand it. So it's that. Then let's do interest rate. We're doing it a lot, more than I should have. Anyway, interest rate. So define the name. First you go to the cell. Interest. Oh wait, I already said rate. Sorry. Wait a minute. Wait. What the heck did I just do? Where's my rate? is, yeah, rate was the interest rate. Okay, so I do have that. It used to say E5, so it's that. Then number months. So this one here I'll call months. Okay, so again, define a name, call it months, okay, and do it. And then change any reference to E6 in the formula. Here's E6, change that to months. Okay, so double click that one if you prefer it that way, and just enter. Boom, it's still, in other words, it's still right every time because it understands rate, it understands months, it understands house cost. I could also have down payment. I could have anything I want, all right? But that's enough. All right, so I'm going to save this as payment example, I guess. Save as in this PC. Let's see here, Homestead, no, but I'm going to MDC, and I'll go to spring 2022. Sorry, I'm speaking low now. You guys, this was my introduction spreadsheet that I demonstrated either in class last week or in I think I demonstrated this in my overview video. Yeah, my overview video, which I made 2 days ago. Anyway, I'm going to call this one now Excel hands-on. Excel PMT function hands-on example. Okay. All right, save that. So now, if you guys want me to show it, I can show it to you in class. All right, so that's there. But anyway, I'm not going to continue, but you need to read all these things. Okay. All right. So then here, so that the next chapter is 7, and 7 has got a lot of stuff. Okay, date and logical functions, if functions. I actually demonstrated an if function for you last in class again during the word part, I think. Let me pull up that same darn Excel spreadsheet. Excel, Excel, Excel. Where am I? Desktop. MDC again. Spring again. Spring again. Oops, 2022, silly. 2022. Okay, north. All right, this one that I did today, which is 222. Oops. Okay, so now I'll say down here, if function. If function example to convert numeric grade to letter grade. Okay, all right, so I'm going to say assignment. Actually cut that one over there, Control X that and put that in here, Control V. Make this one in bold, same as the other one, bold underscore. Okay, so assignment, and I'll just say Windows 10 exam, Win 10 exam. All right, I demonstrated this in class, and I'll put here numeric grade. Okay, and then next to it, well, I won't do next to it yet, because you see this, here's F12. I want it to fit right there, but F12 with these two words, now it's taken into G, and it's actually taken into H as well. So what I'm going to do is single click on the cell where I typed it. So where it says numeric grade on the formula bar, here it's not fitting in the confines of cell F12. But I can click wrap text. And when I do, you can see now it's fitting into the confines of F12. And then I can make it a little bit wider to make it like 2 words. So just a little at a time to make it where I get exactly 2 words. Like that. Okay. And make this one bold and that one bold. Whoops. This one bold, bold, bold. Well, now it went down small again. See, because bold is wider than the other. Anyway, so numeric grade, and here I'll say letter grade. Okay, and again, I want to put letter grade the same way. So I'll say bold, and I'll wrap the text, and now make it fit within the confines of 2 words like that, and then just bring this thing back up like that, pull it back down a little bit like that, back up a little bit like that. Okay, all right. So Windows 10 exam is an example, and I'll put 89.5 on purpose. Oh, I put 89 point. Let me make it 5. Okay, 89.5. Okay, all right, 89.5. I'm going to put a program. I'm going to do a formula using if statement, which is logic statement, which is what this chapter 7 is also covering, and demonstrate it how the 89.5 will flip to an A right here. All right, so here's my formula. Equal if, open parenthesis, logical test is this cell here, is that greater or equal 89.5? If it is, double quote, A, double quote. You put a comma before that. Then, comma, if, because it may be equal to that. You know what? I shouldn't have put that number. I'll fix that after. If, and again, this one, greater equal 79.5, comma, double, B, double. In other words, if it's not greater than or equal to 89.5, but it might be greater than or equal to 79.5. If it is, then a B. If the original was true, then an A. Okay, then a comma, and then another if, and then again, point and click at this one. Now, if it's greater or equal 69.5, comma, double, C, double, comma. One more, if. This one again. Greater equal 59.5, comma, double D, double, comma, if. Again, greater equal 0, comma, double F, double. Okay, so what it's saying is this. If F13, which is this cell here, is greater than or equal to 89.5, then I want to put an A here. Okay, and remember, it's a true-false statement. It's a condition. It's either true or false. So a 90 is also going to be an A. A 95, a 97, a 98, 100 is also going to be an A. 101 or 1,000 is also going to be an A. I could put a cap, but I'm not going to put the cap. I'm just doing an easy demonstration for you. So if the number is 89.5 or higher, okay, if that's true, then it will be turned out to an A, all right? If it's not true, then we're asking another if. Well, is the number here greater than or equal to 79.5? If it is, that's a B. If that's not true, well, is that number in F13 greater than or equal 69.5? If that's true, then flip it to a C. If, meaning in letter grade, make it a C. If F13, meaning this, is greater than or equal to 59.5, then make it a D. Put a D there. And if that's not true, well, as long as the score is at least a 0, make it an F. So you see we have 1 open parenthesis right here, 2 open parentheses right here, 3 open parentheses right here, 4 open parentheses right there, and then 5. So we have 5 open parentheses. So now I have to do 5 closing parentheses. So 1 close, 2 close, 3 close, 4 close, 5 close. Just to let you know, each of those colors matches up with one and only one of the other ones. Okay. All right. Now I enter. And see, there's the answer, A. Now watch, I change this, 89.4. What do you think the answer is going to be? Well, 89.4 is not greater than or equal to 89.5, which means it's going to be a B. Okay? Let's go to 79.3. 79.3. That's going to be a C because it's not greater than or equal to 79.5. Enter. So now it's a C. Let's go down and put a 0. Enter. Oops, I didn't do it here. Sorry. Delete. I'll do that after. Put it 0. It's a F. Put it as a 60. It's a D. Put it as a 59.5. It's still a D. Put it as a 69.4. It'll be still a D. Put it as 69.5. It'll be a C. Put it at 79.4. It'll still be a C. Okay. So that's what my little logic does there. Now also you see that numbers in Excel are right justified. Text in Excel is left justified. So what I would do here is select both of these, click the center, okay? And also probably bold because I would want them to be bold. And that would be how that works. All right, so now save that. Now I've done too much, and that's part of chapter 7. So I did a little demonstration on part of chapter 7, a little demonstration on part of chapter 6, but I'm not going to do any more of that. I'm just going to let you guys do whatever. And then there's conditional math. All right, I'll do one more. Okay, let's say on this one here, so conditional, blah, blah, blah. Let's go back. Ah, darn, I shut the thing down again. Let's see, Homestead, where's the heck is my, you guys? Oh, well. North. And again, open the one that's 222, this one. Okay. Now I'm going to put a conditional formatting rule. And I'm going to say and add formatting, conditional formatting rule to show text in red if score less than 70. Okay. All right, now, so right here, right? So this is conditional formatting up here. Click my formatting, and I want a rule. Let's see, highlight cell rules. If it's less than, and I'm not going to say 79.4, I'm going to say if it's less than 70, okay, I want that to be light red fill with dark red text. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So, oh wait, I don't think I did one thing I got to do in it. Okay, that, less than, that. I thought there was something else you had to do. All right, let's see. All right, so now I'll change this number to a 69. Okay, see how it turned to red now? So that's conditional formatting. Watch when I change it to 70 again. Oh wait, did I say 70 or less? Let me make it 71. Uh-oh. Something happened. What happened? Conditional formatting. Highlight. Less than. There's a way to make this expand, and it's not expanding for me. Custom format, maybe. I want this to only occur if, let me see this again. Let's get out of there. Oops, dang it. Format cells that are less than 71 with that. But the problem is it's not fixing itself. Okay, you know what? Because I have that, but now I don't have another one. So, okay, I have to do another rule now, I guess. All right, so then highlight cell rules greater than. I hope the other one doesn't go away. So if it's greater than 70, you know what? See, it's not showing me all my choices. Let me get out of here and go back into conditional formatting, do the drop-down arrow, manage rules. Okay, so I don't want that. Oh, okay, see, I got all these weird now. Okay, yeah, let's delete some of this. So this one, I'm going to say delete the rule. This one, actually, that's the one I wanted, less than 70, I said. So this one, delete the rule. Okay, so now I have one rule, and it's that. But now I want to make another, add a rule. So let's make a new rule. So here, cells, format only values that are above. Okay, that. Format values that are above. Yeah, above. Wait. Format. Why isn't it this? No. Let me just cancel that one. So this is still there. I'll just say new rule. And here, I don't know, it's not. Maximum value, lowest value. I don't want two color scale. Oh, wait. Okay, maybe I can do it this way. Format all cells based on their values. So if it's, okay, yeah, lowest value. Let me try it this way. Lowest value. No, not lowest, less than. No, I could probably make this one work, but I'd have to think about it. Lowest to highest. So you know what? I'm going to just try a number. I'm going to see this one as a number 0, and the highest, I'll say a number 100. Okay. Then the color. So if it's, no, actually, this is for the other. So the value number 70. So if it's, let's see, all cells based on that. So if the minimum is 70 and the maximum is 100, so that should be like normal. This is, I think, normal. Black text 1 anyway, I'll make it that. Okay, and I don't need a, what do you call a fill color. So let's just say none over here for that. Okay, that. All right. Now, so let's say okay. So now I have that. Oh, I don't know what the heck I did there. Graded color scale. So less than 70. I still didn't fix this thing here though. Let's do a refresh. Let's say apply. Okay, so now it made it black, but the black ruined what I'm trying to do. So I messed up something in this color. I think because of this format, I didn't want that. Edit the rule. So if it's 70 to 100, this must be like a background color, not a, what do you call it? So I want a light red, that's dark red. Let's make it this, whatever this thing is, orange. So I'll make it that color for the background. And then on maximum color 100. Oh, you know, I got this. This is changing based on, I don't know. Anyway, I'll just try one more time just to see if this, so that we can see it and apply it. Okay, yeah, so that would be that. Now let's see if the other one also works now. So let's hit the save just to see what happens on here. Now, I did more than I wanted to, obviously. Here, I'll make this 69. Okay, so now the 69 is red, okay, and make this now 70. Yeah, and it's black. The fill color I didn't change, that's fine. So let's make it now 100, okay? So, well, that did do whatever. Anyway, so 100 is still that color. Let's make it 73. It's still that color, but with this whatever background is, but I don't care about that. So the other worked. And now let's make it a 41. Obviously, that's got to be red. And yeah, okay. So in my mind, that did good enough. So anyway, save again. All right. Now, what I was saying is, so now I demonstrated conditional math. Now there's other conditionals. You can be looking around in some of these. Okay. All right. So that was 7 and then 8, analyzing statistics. This is way longer than I wanted, but that's all right. Use a standard deviation function, use the variance function, use the Carrel function, use the frequency function. So standard deviation, some of you that had higher level math might know what that is, but you can use literally functions like that in Excel. Okay, let me go. Every time I shut my file, I open it again. Let me open this one more time. All right, so just to show you, here's formulas, okay? So in the formulas, there's tons. So here's auto sum as an example. I reviewed these in the introduction video, so it covers these, all right? So then let's go to logical. Logical, I demonstrated the if, but you see there's a whole bunch more, okay? But I demonstrated if. Financial, I demonstrated PMT for payment, this one. But look at all the others, okay? These are all functions in Excel. I could never know them all. No one could. Okay. Look up and reference math and trig. Okay. So if you want to do something, let's see if standard deviation is here. Standard deviation. Standard deviation is not there. Let's search. Let's see. More functions. Statistical. Standard deviation. There, standard deviations, okay? So there's different standard deviations, but I don't know them, but in any event, standard deviation based on a sample is that one. This is calculate standard deviation based on the entire population. So there's different, versions, and this is standard deviation for a sample, including logical values, okay? All right, so point being, there's lots of things you can do with Excel, and all these formulas are there, okay? All right, now, all right, so I'm going to say that ends my overview now, but remember, you know what you need to do. You have to do chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8, okay? You have to do the 4 chapters, 5, 6, 7, and 8, the simulation training. You have to do simulation projects for chapters 5, 6, and 7. You have to do the e-text and the audio PowerPoint for chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8 to help you get a good grade. So you really need to go through them, okay? You have to do the 4 practice exams, chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8, because when I make my exam, and I won't make the exam until about March the 10th or so, but I'm going to make it from the simulation training and the simulation practice exams for chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8, just like I did with Word. All right? All right, so let me get out of this one here. And I did more than I wanted to on that, but I wanted to give you a little demo and little whatever, but that was a bit too much. All right, so have a great day. I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.